Welcome back to Freedom to Nourish. I'm Kathy, and today we're going to take a journey through history, one that reveals how deep our culture's obsession with weight loss really runs. From the amphetamine diet pills of the 1930s to the fen craze of the 1990s, and now the Ozempic era we're living in today. People have always been searching for a so called magic pill. But behind each of these drugs is a troubling story, one that tells us more about diet culture, capitalism, profit, and power than about actual health. And my hope today is that as we trace this history, we're going to begin to see some patterns. Let's ask those hard questions and remind ourselves that our worth is never defined by the scale. Diet culture and toxic wellness trends can make you feel like you're at war with your own body, constantly doubting yourself and chasing impossible standards. But it doesn't have to be that way. I'm Kathy Salata, a recovered anorexia survivor and educator, and this is Freedom to Nourish. Each week, we'll have real conversations, share stories, and give you tools to finally make peace with food and respect your body. No more food rules, no more body shame, just the freedom to be yourself again. So let's go back to the 1930s. Imagine the era. Hollywood's golden age, glamorous movie stars, and a growing pressure on women to be slim, poised, and perfect. Enter amphetamines. These stimulants were originally developed to treat narcolepsy and depression. But it didn't take long for doctors to realize they also suppressed appetite. Soon, amphetamines were being prescribed left and right like diet pills. And by the 1940s and 50s, these pet pills weren't just for medical use, they were marketed to housewives and working women as a way to control cravings, boost energy, and maintain that ideal slim figure. But what was the cost of that? Addiction, heart problems, mood swings, insomnia. Women were promised thinness and beauty, but they were really given a chemical dependency wrapped up in a shiny package. This was the beginning of a theme we'll see again and again. A drug that promised easy weight loss, but left behind harm that was far greater than the pound shed. By the 1960s and 70s, diet pills were everywhere. Doctors often prescribed what became known as rainbow pills. These weren't just one drug, they were dangerous cocktails of amphetamines, diuretics, laxatives, and thyroid hormones. Think about that for a moment. A pill that revved up your metabolism, sped up your heart rate, drained water from your body, and forced your bowels to work overtime, all in the name of thinness. Then came the 70s and 80s with a new household name, Dexatrim. Now, if you grew up in that era, you probably remember the commercial. Dexatrim was sold over the counter, promising to curb your appetite and help you shed unwanted pounds. It was marketed as safe, modern, and effective. But Dexatrim contained PPA, later linked to strokes and pulled from the market in the year 2000. Again, the same pattern. Marketed as harmless, later revealed to be harmful. Now let's go to the 1990s. There was a new miracle out there called fen. Now, fen was two different drugs and was hailed as the safest, most effective weight loss treatment yet. Doctors prescribed it to millions of people, and people did lose weight quickly. It felt like the dream had finally arrived. But within just a few years, reports started to surface. Devastating side effects, heart valve damage, pulmonary hypertension, and even death. 1997, fen pulled from the market, and lawsuits soon followed, billions of dollars being paid out to those harmed or those who were killed, their families. And yet, once again, we see the cycle, a cultural obsession with thinness, the promise of a quick fix, the rush to market, and the eventual devastation. Now, after the Fen-Phen disaster, the diet industry and pharmaceutical companies looked for ways to keep people buying. One of these drugs was called Ally. It was an over-the-counter version of Orlistat. Its promise? Eat what you want, and Ally will block the fat from being absorbed. The catch? The fat had to go somewhere. Side effects included stomach pain, diarrhea, and something that is still known to this day called anal leakage. And around that same time, supplements like Ephedra became widely popular. They were sold in health food stores and gyms, and it was promoted as a natural weight loss aid. But natural doesn't mean safe. Ephedra was linked to heart attacks, strokes, and banned in 2004. Each time the pattern's the same, marketed as a solution, exposed as dangerous, then banned or restricted. And now here we are today. But the names are different. Names like Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro. These GLP-1 drugs were originally created to treat diabetes, but are now being prescribed and, quite frankly, aggressively for weight loss. There's no question these drugs can result in significant weight loss, but the side effects are real too. Nausea, vomiting, gastrointestinal issues, gallbladder problems, muscle loss. And because these drugs are so new, we don't know what the long-term consequences are. History has shown us that every generation has its miracle cure, and every time the promises are bigger than the truth. So I leave you with this question. Are we going to repeat this history? Are we once again going to choose thinness at any cost? The story of weight loss drugs isn't just about medicine and science, it's about culture. It's about how diet culture convinces us that our bodies are problems to be fixed, and how the pharmaceutical industry profits from that pain. When we step back, we see the same cycle repeating over and over. The hype, the harm, the heartbreak. So maybe the real miracle isn't a pill at all. Maybe it's choosing to step off of that hamster wheel of diet culture, nourish our bodies, trust ourselves, and find peace outside of those numbers on the scale. And I thank you for joining me today on Freedom to Nourish as we went through history. And if this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to share it with a friend, leave a review. And until next time, remember, your worth has never been measured in pounds. Thank you.
If you're ready to step into a kinder, fuller life, subscribe now and join me each week for Freedom to Nourish. Because your body deserves respect, your story deserves to be heard, and you deserve to live fully right now.